What's up, everybody? Arrg the Pirate here, and today I'm going to kind of do another community corner. Now, it's been a few weeks since I've done the community corner. Not a whole lot of people show a whole lot of interest in it, but I thought that I would do it over this one just because it's like a 40-minute long community corner, and they really only talk about a few points. So I really wanted to just kind of condense it down so I can give you the real solid points that are being made. Now, the first point is mastery cost. Mastery costs are being reduced down from 500,000 for that first, initial purchase to 25,000. And then each level is 25,000, 75, 150,000, and then 250,000. And then rank 5 will be at 500,000. So you get to really feel out the character for 5 levels before you can actually make that huge commitment into saying, hey, I want to kind of main this hero. And that is great. Even some heroes that have been playing for a long time only have, 1 or 2 masteries, and now they're going to be able to level up a handful of heroes and say, hey, I like this guy, I don't like this guy, or for me, for one, I was a support main. Well, I don't really feel supports anymore. In version 42, I'm just not really feeling the support roles. So I'm kind of getting to experience other roles and things like that. Of course, I do have all the masteries, and I'm a little bit ahead of most players, but other players that are like me that, hey, they want to switch mains now or switch roles, they can actually do that and purchase a mastery and get those ranks without having to just make this massive commitment. Now, if you did buy a mastery for the insane cost, you will get a mastery token. Now, I'm assuming this mastery token is just going to be, hey, you can buy a mastery for any of the other heroes at any given time, which is kind of neat. I will definitely have to see, if you spent 500,000 and you just get this kind of little token that is only worth, 2,500 or 25,000 rep, you still lost out quite a bit. So I'm not exactly sure how that mastery token's going to work. They didn't really go and fully explain it, but you will get something for buying those masteries. Now, another thing is the masteries will be able to be purchased with coins at a reduced rate. So if you want to get that rank 1 mastery instead of 25,000 rep, you can spend 25 coins. And, respectively, it's 25 to 25, 75 to 75. Basically, a coin is worth 1,000 points is what they're kind of going for in the mastery costs. Now, they did also briefly explain why they did the mastery cost the way they were, and I'm not really going to go into that. They kind of just said, hey, we wanted to really make it more involved with people, but it really doesn't matter. It is being fixed, so that's one thing that, hey, we can all be thankful for. The next kind of really good thing that I'm really excited for is deck builder. They're redoing how deck building works. Right now, it's kind of got, you've got this one screen, you pick your affinities. You've got this next screen, you pick your cards. Your next screen, you pick your gems, and then the next screen you pick this, and if you want to change something, you have to go all the way back, and it's just a little too spread out, and they're going to fix that, which they did kind of mention that, hey, if this one isn't good, we're going to make another one. So I would assume that it's definitely not going to be the most polished thing ever. It kind of, just the way it came off, it sounds like, hey, we're trying to make it better, but we don't know if this is actually what y'all want. But the thing to take away from it is they're listening to the community, and, a lot of us were saying, hey, we don't really like how the deck builder's set up. So this is one thing that they are changing, and we can actually see that it is helpful, and it's going to make just gameplay in general, or deck building in general, much, much easier, and I really do appreciate that. The next point they kind of bring up is toning down and improving some heroes. Now, they specifically talk about 7, which I would imagine that we'll have more of just slightly toning or maybe bug fixes on a lot more heroes than that, just because version 42 has had a lot of issues, you know, just small little tweaks that they can do. But the major changes are going to happen on Wukong, Iggy, Quang or Kwong, and Kalari. These 4 heroes are going to be toned down, and they're improving Gideon, Wraith, and Zinx. Now, as far as the toning down, Wukong, they've kind of already talked about him. They're going to make his evade not quite as strong. They're going to tone down his damage a little bit. They briefly kind of specifically talk about Quang, but they don't specifically say what they're going to do. They just talk about what makes him strong. And, you know, this is just how you build his deck. So, to me, I kind of see more of the issue revolves around the card system over the heroes, but certain heroes taking advantage of certain cards is overpowered. So, like I said, I kind of see that more of a card issue than a hero issue, but, you know, we'll kind of talk about that here in a second. Now, the improvements to Gideon, Wraith, and Zinx. Now, I've played with Wraith, and I'm planning on coming out with a video, maybe even tomorrow, about, you know, just me playing him, and, you know, it'll be nice to be able to compare him before and after. I've played about 4 games with Wraith, and yeah, he's just in a terrible place right now. But, you know, to be quite honest, I've never thought Wraith was just a great hero. He's kind of team-oriented with his ultimate, and, you know, he does have these free wards, but, you know, he's very weak. You know, without his backup, if you get ganked by 2 heroes as Wraith, you are going to die unless you ultimate and run away. And, you know, I've never thought using ultimates as an escape was really how you should use ultimates. But, you know, it is what it is. He is getting, you know, improved. Zinx is in a very bad place. And I you know, if you've watched my impressions of Zinx video, I like the idea of Zinx, but I don't think she works well, and I don't really know how they can make her better without making her too strong. The simple fact is, dot damage is not as good as it once was, just because time to kill is so much faster, and Zinx is all about dot damage. On top of that, you have a decent tank hero that the only time she's tanky is when she's not doing damage. And when she is doing damage, you know, she's not tanky at all. So, I kind of, you know, she's a backline tank hero that she just does not feel good. I've never really thought she was in a good place. And I really hope that we see some improvements with her, but like I said, I just don't really know what can be done to make her great. Gideon, the issue with me that's always been with Gideon is a team fight hero. And, you know, and that's just solely revolves around his ultimate. Of course, his rock hits like crazy. His slowdown is very strong, and it's almost to the point where it seems like it could be turned down. His slow or burden is just crazy strong right now, and it feels really solid, but anytime you use your ultimate, you know, you're going to die, period. You turn yourself into a target, and especially now, like I said, with the time to kill so much faster and burst damage just so strong right now, when you use your ultimate, you instantly die, or at least in semi-competent teams, they're going to kill you before, or stun you out of your ultimate before it even happens. So maybe we might see something happen to Gideon like how it used to be, where you get maybe a shield or some kind of damage reduction, or, you know, who knows, they might just improve the damage to where it's doing massive amounts of damage. We'll have to wait and see. The full patch notes will be released on Monday, so you know, we can kind of wait till Monday and see what actually happens, but really we'll have to get into a game and actually test him out and see what has actually changed with him to really feel if there have been massive improvements or not. Lastly, they talk about cards. They specifically mention 3 cards, and that is Flame, Shadow Dancer, and Godmother. Now, they're changing a total of 25 cards, which is huge. I really think that, you know, before balancing was all about balancing the heroes, and in version 42 they've kind of changed that. Of course, some heroes are still going to require balancing, but it's mainly the cards that need to be balanced. So we will definitely have to wait and see what happens with that, but expect a huge amount of changes coming to cards. And that's really it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and if you enjoyed, show me some love, leave me a comment, think about subscribing, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.